Tiffany Gayle's story is one of unimaginable sorrow. A young girl with dreams of a better life in Canada. Instead, she was subjected to a life of pain and relentless torment. In an undated note found by the Peel police in the Gayles' home, Tiffany expressed her deep sense of guilt, writing, and I quote, "I make them happy a day or two. Then it's the same thing over and over and over again. I hate to see my parents angry, but I guess there is nothing I can do, because all I have ever done is cause pain in the family." End quote. Tiffany obviously held herself responsible for the mistreatment inflicted upon her by her parents. Welcome to another chilling episode of our true crime series. Today, we delve into the tragic and heart-wrenching tale of Tiffany Gayle, a 15-year-old girl from Jamaica who went to Canada with dreams of a better life. Little did she know, her life would be cut short in a horrifying way, and her parents would be on trial for her murder. This is the tragic story of Tiffany Gayle. Our story begins in 2009 when Tiffany Gayle embarked on a journey from her home in Clarendon, Jamaica, to Canada, where she would be reunited with her father, Frederick Gayle, and her stepmother, Elizabeth Gayle. Tiffany, a bright and hopeful girl with dreams of becoming a nurse, had left her homeland behind in search of the better life that was promised to her in the Great White North. However, Tiffany's hopeful beginning soon took on a nightmarish turn as she watched her dreams shatter before even getting a chance to materialize. The exact reasons behind the abuse that followed remained a mystery, but it was during her short time in Canada that her nightmare began, leading to her premature death in June of 2010. If you find these videos interesting or informative, please support the channel by clicking the like button. A lot of cases like these are not given the exposure or attention they deserve. So based on this, I decided to shed some light on a few of these cases. However, because of the nature of most of these videos, they have limited or no ads. So if you are so inclined and want to chip in and help support my research, you can use the PayPal link below to donate to the channel. Your support is much appreciated. The beginning of the nightmare. It was during that dark period of her life in 2010 that Tiffany's life took a tragic turn. The innocent young girl became a victim of relentless emotional and physical abuse, the brutality of which is difficult to fathom. The methods of torment used against her were varied and cruel. They even included threats to send her back to Jamaica, which left the young girl confused and emotionally scarred. June 12, 2010, the abuse escalated to a fatal level that resulted in Tiffany's lifeless body being found in a bloodied bathtub in the basement of her family home. She had been brutally beaten to death with a baseball bat and a barbecue tool. Tiffany suffered multiple fractures, lacerations, and internal bleeding. Her parents, that were supposed to be safeguarding her, became the prime suspects in her murder.
Guilty as charged. That's the verdict reached today in the beating death of 15-year-old Tiffany Gayle. As Michelle Chung tells us, a Brampton jury took only a few hours to find her parents guilty of first-degree murder.
Her father, Frederick Gayle, and stepmother, Elizabeth, stood accused of her murder. The prosecution's case relied heavily on forensic evidence, aiming to prove that Tiffany was brutally killed by both of the parents, utilizing two different weapons, a baseball bat and a barbecue tool, in a vicious beating of the young girl. Tiffany's lifeless body was found naked from the waist up and already in rigor mortis in the blood-smeared basement bathtub of her Brampton home on June 12, 2010. The horrifying details revealed multiple blunt force trauma wounds to her legs, back, and arms, with her shoulder and fifth rib broken in several places. Pools of her blood were spattered throughout the house, a stark reminder of the brutality she endured. Efforts to clean the crime scene were evident, but a chemical process unveiled the bloody footprints belonging to both Frederick and Elizabeth. DNA analysis also confirmed the presence of Tiffany's blood and several items of clothing belonging to the couple that were seized. The Gayles attempted to shift blame onto each other. Elizabeth claimed her husband struck Tiffany with a baseball bat while she tried to stop him, implying that she was a battered wife. Meanwhile, Frederick's lawyer suggested that Elizabeth was the aggressor, even stating that she had an appointment at a fertility clinic in order to have a child with her husband. However, the picture painted by the prosecutors was one of oppressive parenting. Tiffany and her siblings lived under strict rules and discipline, restricted from using the phone or socializing with friends outside of school. Tiffany's life was filled with threats of being sent back to Jamaica, corporal punishment, and other forms of harsh discipline. Before her tragic demise, Tiffany had been kicked out of her room, left to sleep in the garage. Her connection to her family was tense. They took away her belongings and subjected her to harsh punishments. On the day before her death, Tiffany's friend noticed injuries on her body, inflicted during a fight with her stepmother, Elizabeth. Tiffany's parents had forbidden her from coming home that night. Despite her friend's concern and advice to call if she needed help, Tiffany never had a chance to make that or any call. When investigators searched the Gayles' home, they uncovered more than just the gruesome crime scenes. Heartbreaking notes written by Tiffany herself were discovered in her parents' bedroom dresser, each one expressing her love for her family and their pain at causing them suffering. The police arrested Frederick and Elizabeth Gayle 3 days after Tiffany's death and charged them with first-degree murder. They pleaded not guilty and claimed they had nothing to do with the killing. They said that they had left Tiffany at home while they went to a church service and returned to find her dead in the bathtub. But the evidence against them was overwhelming. The police found blood on their clothing, a shower curtain in the sink, and traces of blood all over the floor, indicating that they had tried to clean up the crime scene. The autopsy revealed that Tiffany had died from blunt force trauma and shock, and that she had been dead for several hours before her parents called 911. The motive for the murder was unclear, but the court heard that there was a history of tension and abuse in the family. Tiffany had confided in her friends and teachers that she was unhappy at home, and that her parents were strict and controlling. She had also told them that she was afraid of her father, who had once beaten her with a belt when she was younger. Tiffany's older half-sister, Samantha, who had moved to Canada with her in 2009, testified that her father had asked her to change her statement to the police after the murder. He wanted her to retract the word disrespectful, which she had used to describe why she was sent back to Jamaica just 5 weeks after arriving in Brampton. She said her father wanted her to cover for him, but she refused. The jury of 6 men and 6 women deliberated for about 5.5 hours before finding Frederick and Elizabeth Gayle guilty of first-degree murder on June 26, 2013. They were sentenced to life in prison, with no chance of parole for 25 years. Tiffany Gayle's murder shocked and saddened the community, especially her friends and classmates, who remembered her as a kind and friendly girl who had a bright future ahead of her. They held vigils and fundraisers in her memory and hoped that justice would be served for her. Tiffany Gayle's story is a tragic example of how domestic violence can escalate into horrific crime, and how a young child's dream can be mercilessly cut short by the very people who are supposed to love and protect her. Her case also raised awareness around the issues of child mistreatment and the need for more support and intervention for victims. Several organizations and initiatives were launched in Tiffany's honor, such as the Tiffany Gayle Foundation, which provides scholarships and mentorship for young girls, and the Tiffany Gayle Project, which offers counseling and resources for survivors of abuse. Tiffany Gayle's legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of those who knew her, and those who were inspired by her courage and resilience. She will be remembered as a beautiful soul who deserved a better life and the chance to have realized her dreams. Thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. If you found it informative, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more true crime stories like these. If you have any thoughts or comments about this case, please share them below. Your input is valued. Until next time, stay safe, take care, and thank you for watching.
Elite Jamaica. Don't forget to drop a like and a comment. Don't forget to subscribe.